Greetings, good morning, and welcome to Mind the Moment, brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. Now, these sessions, which take place every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at this time, are an opportunity for us to practice together, for us to ask amazing mindfulness instructors about what mindfulness means to them, and most importantly, to hear from you regarding your own mindfulness journey. How's it been going? Where would you like it to go? How can we help you to get there? I'm Jon Roberts. I'm sitting in for your usual host, Suzanne Rowe Palacino, who's enjoying some much deserved time off. And it's January 20th, 2022. That's a lot of 20s in there, which just so happens to be the birthday of idiosyncratic filmmaker and very enthusiastic meditation advocate, David Lynch. Lynch has said, quote, "When you see an aging or a rusted bridge, you are seeing nature and man working together. If you paint over a building, there is no more magic to that building. But if it's allowed to age, then man has built it and nature has added into it. It's so organic," end quote. Now, mindfulness too might have a thing or two to say to us about the wisdom and not painting over what the present moment has presented us with, but instead seeing what emerges when we allow ourselves to really interact with the circumstances of the present moment, inviting something like a chemical reaction that has the capacity to produce something wonderful, or at least unexpected, and perhaps even inspiring to others. Now, someone I can always count on to produce something wonderful, unexpected, and inspiring to others is the founder of MindtheMoment, Tara Healey. Welcome, Tara. How are you today?
I am doing well, John. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing just great. Thank you for asking. Tara, do you have a favorite David Lynch movie?
How
can you choose one is perhaps what you're thinking.
I don't, yes, there's nothing that's coming to mind. How about you?
Well, I think I possess an equal love and hatred really for all of them. It reminds me of when you're a kid and you go to a Halloween party and they have those bags that you're supposed to reach into and not look and feel around. And you can't stop yourself from reaching in, but you also don't really want to know what's in there.
Yes.
So that's kind of how
they're a little bizarre, right? His movies are kind of
a little, yes, just a little. So, Tara, here we are with quite a few people practicing with us this morning. I know you like to keep the group on their toes by asking them a question to begin. Now, group, if you haven't already done so, please do open up the chat box. That's how you can let us know what's on your mind. Not only the answers you may have to our questions, but also questions you may have for us. Tara, what would you like to present to the group here?
Yeah, I just had to open up the chat. So John and I are both reading this book called Peak Mind by Dr. Amishi Jha. And Dr. Jha, along with many of the other neuroscientists, one of the things they point to, and even if the science didn't point to this, just from, being a regular practitioner over the years, it's kind of an empirical knowledge in general, the importance of regular practice. So having, I almost hate to use the word discipline, but having a disciplined daily practice is really where you start to see structural changes in the brain and impact from the practice. But there are lots of things that get in the way or make practice difficult. So my question this morning is, what gets in the way of your daily practice or having some very regular kind of consistency to practice? What is it that gets in the way of daily practice? And actually, we'll start with John.
Yes, I was supposed to be thinking of an answer. Well, I'll tell you, Tara, that I do have an answer, and that my answer is that I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I know that from all this work that we do, that consistency is more important than quantity. And it's better to do 3 minutes a day than wait until you can do 10 or 15 minutes. But I still find it really hard if I don't have, say, 15 minutes or 20 minutes or a half hour. I find it hard to sit because I think even though I know this isn't true, in my mind, I'm saying to myself, oh, 3 minutes isn't good enough. But that's just what my mind is telling me. And it's something I have to work through.
So John, will you not do a 3 minute? Because it's just not like it's not the kind of time you want.
It's what well, I shouldn't say I don't. So let me just say, sure, of course I do. Of course I do that 3 minutes if I have the 3 minutes.
Okay.
But it's it's a real problem for me. I think it's this is I guess I want to be good, Tara. I want to do the best I can, you know. What about you? What gets in your way?
Well, you know, it's funny because as I've been reading Amishi's book and just kind of thinking about I mean, at this point, because I've had a regular consistent practice for a long time, but I want to say that early on, what made it really difficult for me was being without distraction and dealing with the kind of the waterfall of thought, that I wasn't trying to bring on. It's just, kind of dealing with the unpleasantness of, all of the various thoughts and memories and projections and concerns about all the content that could come up. And it's that has lost its grip over the years, because you sort of begin to understand that this is how the mind works, the nature of the mind. These thoughts arise, they do their thing, they move. So the thoughts, and not to say that it's not ever difficult, of course it is at times, but I would say also when I'm traveling and out of a regular routine, and it could even be just like local, like going to my sister's or whatever, I find it more challenging to do it, but I will still kind of do it more informally, taking a few minutes here and there. But so go ahead.
I love this idea of the waterfall. I know it's something that we always talk about, the mindfulness, the waterfall of thoughts. I think the problem with that for me is that a waterfall sounds very pleasant. It's like, oh, it's like a nice waterfall. I think for me, it always feels more like a fire hose of thoughts is just getting blasted in my face. But that's
probably better.
That's just my mind.
John. Yeah.
Or maybe just like a champagne bucket full of bar rag water being tossed into my face.
Yeah.
So other folks are saying not enough discipline, procrastination, just putting it off, the demands of work or life. Somebody says the first thing in the morning is best for that person. Sitting right when they wake up creates a good routine. I think that's a great idea. Always good to have some sort of routine that will help keep you focused.
Yes.
Someone says they need at least 10 minutes. 10 minutes is a great amount of time if you can spare it. Someone says I use the 10% Happier app to track my practice, and that keeps a person motivated. So that's great, good tip there. And somebody else says the total chaos that COVID has wrought upon their routine has made it more difficult. And I think that's something that we can all understand. Well, Tara, I think that actually brings us to a great juncture to have you maybe lead us into meditation. Now, I think that you are going to, that your meditation is in part inspired by some of the stuff we've been reading in Amishi's book, Peak Mind. Is that right?
Yes, it is. Correct. And so part of what Amishi is discovering, and I think, this is true with many of the neuroscientists, is they're looking at what's minimum dose for effectiveness. And so Amishi, what she's seeing and where she's landing is 12 minutes, 5 days a week. And so I thought, let's do a 12-minute practice, and then we'll open it up for Q&A. And John and I can share some insights about her book, and also just hear from all of you. So we're going to do what Amishi is suggesting. And I've got us timed. So
okay, I'm ready, Tara. This sounds great.
Go ahead and
okay.
Settle into the posture that feels like it's going to serve you best this morning. That could be standing. It could be sitting. It could even be lying down, as long as you don't feel too sleepy. And a way that I like to always begin is by just take 2 deep breaths, make the exhalation double the length of the inhalation as a way to just settle any surface tension from the activity so far today. So go ahead on your own, 2 deep breaths. On that last exhalation, letting the weight of your body surrender into the posture that is serving you best this morning. Feeling the support of the earth below, you can really release into the support beneath you. Taking a moment to just notice your body, notice various sensations that are occurring in the body from your activity. So pulsing or vibration, tingling, temperature, the points of contact with the body and the surface is always something to connect in with and just to be aware of, to allow, to receive. So just taking a moment, notice the whole body. And receiving whatever is occurring with curious, open awareness. Let's take a moment now to expand our awareness from whole body to sound in the room that you're in, or perhaps outside of the room. And simply hearing. No need to go out and look for something, just receiving sound in the room or outside of the room. Let's stay with that for just a moment. And beginning to bring the awareness back into the whole body, allowing whatever is in the background, of course, to remain there. Sound or lack of sound. Coming back to whole body awareness. And I'm going to guide us through just a short scan of the body. And let's start at the feet. So noticing sensation or lack of sensation in the toes and the soles of the feet and the top of the feet. Moving awareness up over the ankles, both the left and the right, to the shins, the calves. Softening any areas of holding to the degree that you can and noticing what's being offered at the level of sensation. And that could be lack of sensation. And sweeping awareness up over the knees, including the thighs. Perhaps aware of points of contact. Moving awareness now up around the torso. So the whole front of the body and the back of the body. Receiving and softening. Bringing awareness now to the shoulders, both the left and the right. To the upper arms, to the elbows, to the forearms and hands. Receiving sensation or noticing lack of. And bringing awareness now up over the neck, the sides of the head, including the ears and the back of the head. Up over the top of the head. Coming now to the face, so the forehead and the eyes, the nose, cheeks, the jaw, the mouth, even including the tongue, softening the muscles of the face to the degree that you can, and noticing what's there. And releasing that, and simply begin to notice the rhythm of your breath. You don't, of course, have to make it different or special. Allow the body's natural rhythm and see where the sensation of breathing in and breathing out is most prominent for you. That could be a number of different places. There is not a right or wrong here. So you may notice it at the belly, kind of abdomen, chest, nostrils, or just an overall sense, body breathing in and body breathing out. And again, it's at the level of sensation that you're noticing, not thinking about breathing, but actually feeling the sensations present when you inhale and exhale. If for any reason breath is challenging for you this morning, use sound. Go ahead and use the sound in the room, or even take the palms of your hands and rest them on a table or on your body and use that point of contact. So I will be silent for the next couple of minutes and just simply return to your anchor each time the mind wanders. Not a problem. Noticing where the mind is. Gently release the thought. Soften the body and return to your anchor. Noticing where the mind is, releasing the narrative, softening the body, and reconnecting with your anchor. And as we bring this meditation to a close, may we be peaceful and at ease. May our heart be soft and open. May we be safe and protected, and our bodies healthy and strong. And may the merit of our practice today be for the benefit of all beings everywhere. And I'll count back from 3 to 1. So 3, 2, and 1. If your eyes were closed, you can go ahead and open. And as I often like to say, especially if your eyes were closed, but even if not, take a moment to just reorient to your surroundings. So just, kind of look around a little bit, take a little bit of a stretch.
So I would love to hear from folks if that seemed long. Did that seem like a long amount of time? Did that seem like a short amount of time, or did you not even really notice? And Tara, if I could ask you, so there's this recommendation of 12-minute, meditations. I'm wondering though, if you were talking with somebody who was new to meditation, never meditated before, would you recommend starting out with 12 minutes, or would you suggest a different sort of prescription?
It's a really great question, John, and I probably would not. So if somebody was brand new to meditation, and Amishi talks about this a little bit in her book, and others do as well, but I personally feel like starting with like 3 or 5 minutes is really the way to go. And really, that's a way to get comfortable with the discomfort of not being distracted and of being with all the various things that come up. So I, sometimes will say 5 minutes, 5 days a week for 5 weeks as a way to just, you're building that mental muscle. And then, you could go up to 8 minutes and then go up to 12. And the bottom line is the benefit is in proportion to the amount that you practice. So of course you can, over time increase, but I would say, it's better, especially if you're new, to start with small increments.
Well, I should say, Tara, a lot of the folks chiming in here thought the amount of time was perfect or not even enough, which makes me think that we have some experienced meditators here with us.
Yes, I mean, I think there's a bunch of people who are quite regular, but there's always someone new who jumps on. So I think the question is really valuable, John. Yeah.
So Tara, I think you'll agree with me that this Amishi Jha's book, Peak Mind, offers, some of the most clear-eyed explanations of mindfulness by way of the science that I think either of us have encountered.
Yeah.
Would you mind sharing anything that you found to be particularly fascinating about reading the book?
Yeah. One of the things that stands out to me is especially in the beginning of her book, where she talks about, she doesn't make the reader feel badly for how much our attention is pulled, that there's actually an evolutionary reason for that, and that your attention is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. What she does, and then what I also love is that they're looking at how do we reclaim sort of control over our attention, right? Like, how do we kind of reclaim that? And they look at a lot of different things, but the only thing that showed a lot of promise was mindfulness and mindfulness meditation. in comparison to other modalities or other things people could try. And I thought that was really interesting. There were actually, let me see if I can, I also love, I highlighted this. She's basically saying by sheer will alone, you can't pay attention better. Like you need to practice. And she compares it to exercise, which is an analogy I use a lot too. Like if you were on a strong and flexible body, you can't think about it. You know, you've actually got to you have to have a regular practice. And she even says in the book, like, I don't know why we don't think about this the way we think of exercise. It's the same with even going to a restaurant. You can't, if you read the menu all night, you're never going to taste the benefit of that, right? But John, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say, Tara, I completely agree with you. This, I think Amishi does this amazing job of, decriminalizing the wandering mind. I think a lot of us, I'll speak for myself, might think that we're having a bad mindfulness day if our minds are wandering too much during meditation. But as you say, Amishi suggests that there is almost certainly an evolutionary advantage to this. But with our modern brains, alongside mindfulness practice, we have the opportunity, if we choose to dial back the volume of mind wandering that we do on a daily basis.
Yes.
And somehow, for me, just knowing that it's built into the operating system has made it a little bit easier to, sling some self-compassion upon myself when my mind yips off this way or that. I think about what Jessica Rabbit said, I'm not bad, I'm just drawn that way. And so it's good to know. Somebody here in the chat said that they're making it a priority to attend these sessions and suggesting that we always do 12 minutes of meditation. That is a apropos suggestion, because I think that might in fact be the direction we're moving in. Not to give any spoilers here, but so I think there will be a little bit more of an effort to make the meditations just a little bit longer to help people maybe achieve that 12 minutes 5 times a week that Amishi is suggesting.
Yeah. And there's, 3 opportunities during the week to join us to do that. And then you got 2 on your own.
Well, so Tara, I have this terrible job of having to keep my eye on the clock and making sure that we end on time. So with a sense of bittersweetness, I will bring us to our closing. But to remind everyone that they can join us again Tuesday, January 25th. Now, Suzanne Rowe Palacino will be back, and she will be joined by Mary Starr Green. Tara, until then, is there anything else you'd like to leave us with today for the weekend, perhaps?
Yeah, I would just say that notice resistance to practice and do it anyway. And to what we were talking about earlier, like even, 3 minutes or 4 minutes or 5 minutes, just to really develop comfort with the discomfort. So let's see.
All right. Well, Tara, thank you for your guidance. Thank you, everyone, for joining and for interacting. Always love that. We hope to see you again next week. Until then.
It's fun to be back, John.
Oh, yes. It's always so nice. So thanks for having me back. And until the next time, please do have a momentous day.